So this special section is going to be a little more abstract than the normals. Now, if you look at Shimo's command list, it's pretty interesting that I believe she has the fewest amount of specials compared to the rest of the cast. She only has two. This doesn't display on my screen the way it does. But yeah, she only has two. She has her command dash, right? And Shinkoenzan. But these both have a ridiculous amount of utility. You will get a ton of mileage throwing both of these out, and neither are to be underestimated. So I'd like to talk about Shinkoenzan first. Shinkoenzan is an air special. It's only usable in the air, and it throws out this move that takes up like half the screen, and it's fantastic. There are three different versions of Shinkoenzan. One that comes out, and it's just her landing. You don't get any more airtime off this, you know. And I don't believe it's height restricted. You could do it like Tiger Knee, but obviously you get this like weird super jump thing where you just go flying into the air. You're not doing Tiger Knee Shinkoenzan a lot, but you are doing Shinkoenzan into other things frequently. You could do Shinkoenzan into super. As I do here. There are a couple of ways to do this. I do it with the command dash, but you can just do it like regular. The timing gets a little more nasty, though. And I'll talk more about timing that in the combo section. Shinkoenzan also has the disadvantage of being both high and... Actually, I'm not sure if it's low parryable. I'll have to double check that. But because it is something that you can parry quite easily if you're ready for it, and if you do parry it, Shimo is quite punishable. I'll demonstrate here really quickly. Right? I'm minus 14 on that. That's not great. You do need to vary the timing with Shinkoenzan if you plan on landing it a lot. You know, it's a move that you do want to be throwing out in neutral, but you want to be mindful of when you do. So the different versions of Shinkoenzan have different properties. The light one just kind of doesn't change her air momentum at all. But the heavy one does have this little hop after it, which, honestly, as a Shimo player, makes it a little bit hard to space, right? You'll see, like, it's hard to get the spacing consistent, but the hop makes for some really great play patterns. It's a great way to throw your opponent's timing off. And in the event that both your light and heavy Shinkoenzans are getting parried, you can always throw out the EX version, which hits twice, and also has this like weird hop to it. Does stop her air momentum. It's a great move to use overall. Shinkoenzan does start juggling, but you have to use a few specific moves to actually get any juggles off of it. I'll go more into that in the combos section, because it makes the way you play with Shinkoenzan interesting. But overall, I mean, this, if I had to pick one move that was iconic for this character that defined her, it would be Shinkoenzan. It's great. Next, I want to talk about her command dash, for which she has three versions. She has the light command dash, which travels about half screen, if I'm remembering correctly, or maybe a quarter of the screen. You have her heavy command dash, which goes much further, and it is quicker, but there are use cases to both. It's not just like the heavy version is stronger. And lastly, you have the EX version. The EX version is interesting because while it runs at the speed of the light, it has the distance of the heavy. And it also has the advantage where if you hold forward as you do the EX command dash, you will continue to run. So you can just hold forward as long as you want and keep running with it. I don't actually know if I've ever used that with any kind of practicality, but if you can find a use case for it, that'd be cool. It's nice. It's a good move. Command dash has 4 follow-ups out of it. So the first one you'll see, out of all versions, keep in mind. The first one is Yugizan. That's quarter circle forward, punch into light punch. This move is... it's good to just tag your opponent. It can be parried both high and low, which reduces his utility, but it's kind of like a nice little jump scare. I would say it's less useful than Hina's overall, but still useful. You have the Heavy Punch follow-up, which is her kind of pseudo DP move. Shimo doesn't actually have any invincible moves, but this one is kind of like the closest. I've used this a bit as an anti-air if I'm like making a hard call out on my opponent from a distance. But it's not really meant to be used like an anti-air like that. It's more of a combo tool. It does have minimal utility in neutral, but it's a move that you should be familiar with. And lastly, she has... Oh, well, not lastly. She has two more follow-ups. She has her light kick follow-up, which is Retsugizan. Quarter circle forward punch, light kick. This move does hit low. It's the slowest of her follow-ups, but it has the unique property where you can you can super jump cancel out of it. So here I'll demonstrate. Now, if you do the normal version of this, you're not going to get anything else out of it, just the heavy jump, which makes her Oki better. But the EX version leads to some of her best combos. You're really going to use this in combos mostly. You don't really want to go into neutral with this. Against an experienced opponent, they'll parry it because it's very reactable, you know? You have so much time between the startup of the dash and what eventually comes out, but you will still get mileage out of it. And last but not least, she does have the stop off of her command dash. So if you do quarter circle forward punch into heavy kick, she'll stop running. And this is fucking awesome. Firstly, it looks a lot like her dash, which makes it great for feints, but it does enable some unique pressure because you can special cancel into it, stop, and then throw. This is like the run-stop pressure that people talk about frequently. You'll see Shimo players kind of do this, and then throw after. Sorry, I'm getting the timing wrong. It's more significant on block, where you don't really have to delay the throw. And you can do it when you're really hardly minus. Right? See there, I'm -2, and I can just throw out something immediately. I can block afterwards. I can do light kicks afterwards for more damage. The kicks are pretty great. Give me 1 second. So, something I've kind of held out on until now, the EX versions of all these moves have very different properties. So first off, the EX version of her light punch follow-up, rather than being -1 on hit and -3 on block, it is, I want to say it's 0 on both. And I'll double check really quick. So it's +6 on hit, and I think it's 0 on block. This is huge. Firstly, it's like so much quicker than the meterless follow-up. And because of that, if you're going to use Yugizan as like a jump scare, this is more useful. You have the EX version of Shinenzan, her heavy punch follow-up, which kind of looks the same overall, but it's more of the properties of the move that change this one. The follow-up does have some invul. I believe it starts frame 4, which is when the actual hitbox of the move comes out. And you can use it as like a fake DP, but keep in mind, like, the dash already has startup, and then the follow-up has more startup after it, so it's like a... I mean, I'm just guessing, but like a 10 to 11 frame startup on this DP. If you're going to DP, I think you should just use 2 bars of meter for her DP super. But it's still good. It's still a great way to call your opponent out. And it's mostly just combo filler, if I'm being honest. You have her EX light kick follow up. Excuse me. Her EX light kick follow up is uh, one you'll probably use more than the rest because it does lead to her most damaging combos. Normally, if you do the light kick follow up, you don't really get anything off of this, right? Like you can attempt to juggle, but you won't get anywhere. With the EX version, you are able to juggle 3 times off of this. Let's see if I could. 2, 3, yep. And in the combo section, we'll talk more about the utility to that. But it still retains the property of being super jump cancelable, which enables you to do some of her coolest routes. And the stop remains the same, although I believe the stop has improved frame data to the point where you can combo heavy kick off of this. This is something you'll see in her combo trials if you do them. There is one trial that has you doing heavy kick 3 times in a string, and the way you do this is by, yeah, like that. Each time you do this, you'll have less frame advantage, and I mean, it's kind of silly, but it's pretty cool. You can close distance with this pretty well, but I wouldn't recommend burning 1.5 bars on just closing the distance between you and your opponent. The window is a little difficult too. There's like a combo trial video about Shimo where one of the ways the opponent does this is by like stunning using heavy kick and then doing this twice. You don't have to do all that. You could do heavy kick, stop, yeah, like I've demonstrated already. She also has 2 supers, and the best super, the one you should always power up, in my opinion, of course, is the super off punches. If you do quarter circle forward twice punch, you'll get kind of like this single slash big damage move. This move is unique. Her and Hina have this weird property with this super that they share. If you hit with the very tip of this move, the voice line after it changes and it does additional damage. It is really hard to space. It's not something you're going to do in a round intentionally. I'm going to try to get it here. There you go. Yeah, see, it does 13,200 as opposed to the 10,800. Pretty cool. But like I demonstrated earlier, you could get it off Shinko Enzan. Whoops. And the way you do that kind of like weird step thing is that you can Shinko Enzan, command dash, stop, and the stop is cancelable in supers. So, if you watch Narukami play Shimo, he does this if he wants to, close around a meter, and he lands Shinko Enzan. For 1 bar, it's great. It's got a lot of utility. And then, of course, her Super 2, which does more damage and is invul, but is a little more tricky. Sort of this 6-hit series. Against opponents that don't really know much about the game or don't have a lot of matchup experience against Shimo, they will get hit by the second hit of this, which is a low, and it's an absolute bitch. But, if you should be blocking low against this anyway. Let the move finish. The usual spiel about blocking. It makes this move interesting, but certainly doesn't have the same amount of utility. You can land it after a Shinko Enzan or any kind of juggle, but as you'll see here, it doesn't actually hit all the hits. I think at most I've been able to get it to land 2. Yeah, you're not using it like that. Um, but yeah, overall, that's her specials. And now we will talk a little bit more about Shimo conceptually, and how you want to play neutral with this character.